morning breaks eternal, bright and fair. When the saved of earth shall gather over on the other shore. When the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there.
Wow. Welcome to DBL. That, of course, was Leslie Jordan in his last Instagram post singing a song he was getting ready to release. Now, some stars are paying tribute to Leslie, who passed away yesterday in a car crash at the age of 67. He, of course, was known for his larger-than-life personality in shows like American Horror Story, Call Me Kat, and Will and Grace. His former co-star Deborah Messing remembered Leslie, writing, quote, "The joy and delight you have brought into my life has been a beautiful gift." Viola Davis, who starred with him in The Help, tweeted, quote, "Your heart was as big as your humor." And his friend Dolly Parton said, quote, "He will be missed by everyone who knew him personally and everyone who was entertained by him. Rest in peace, little brother." Wow. You know, we were so lucky to have Leslie on our show a handful of times. And every time he came... Last week was the most recent one, last Wednesday. And, you know, we said it yesterday, and what a larger-than-life personality, contagious, made everybody feel like his friend. But you never know. I mean, last week when we spoke to him, we never in a million years would have thought that that would have been the last time we spoke with him. And then it's even more personal when it's a loved one. What would you say, Jeff?
Well, life's precious, first of all. And I'm watching the Instagram post. I weirdly had this thought, like, wow, you never really know what your last post is going to be, right? When a tragic accident happens like this. But the love and support just on people that I follow alone, let alone the whole industry, just had nothing but great things and joy to say about him, you know? So that speaks more than anything else in this business. He did win an Emmy, I believe, for Will and Grace. But to me, the person that he is definitely is bigger than that trophy, for sure.
Yeah. I posted our last chat with him because at the end, you know, we had some technical difficulty. He kept coming back, and you were like, make sure that you come back to see us. And he's like, I want to come back. I'm going to spin the block. And it's like, I was just like, that was just so. First of all, when I heard it, it was just truly devastating because he was such a light. Like, we were all smiling and like in great spirits when he was, you know, on the show, and it just felt like that spin the block thing just meant something more than even when it happened in real time.
Yeah, that's powerful.
I think you guys hit it on the head. It just really quickly, it just made me think about the rapper Heavy D, who passed away from cardiac arrest. I believe he was 43 years old, and you were talking about his last Instagram post, and Heavy D's last tweet, it just said, "Be inspired." Wow. And he was an incredible person, and so was Leslie. And it just shows you when you live a great life, Jeff, your last tweet is always, or Instagram post is going to be a good one because you're a good person. It's consistent all the way through, whether it stops at, at any point. And I think that's what we can learn is like consistency and making people feel good just from being around you. And that's, you were saying we were all smiling. We're just like, he just had that, whatever that is. Right. You cannot bottle it. He just had it.
Yeah, beautifully said, Al. Okay, so James Corden has now officially apologized publicly for his so-called rude behavior towards staff at a New York restaurant. He addressed the incident on his show after taking a week off. Take a listen.
Because I didn't shout or scream, like I didn't get up out of my seat, I didn't call anyone names or use derogatory language, I've been walking around thinking that I hadn't done anything wrong. Right? But the truth is, like I have, I made a rude comment, and it was wrong. It was an unnecessary comment. It was ungracious to the server.
So James said originally he was going to adopt the British motto of never complain, never explain. But then his dad, who was in the audience with his mother, told him, well, son, you did complain, so you might need to explain. And if you go to our, if you want to see like an actual transcript, our Daily Blast Live Instagram has like 4 screenshots of exactly what he said, because that, in my opinion, that blip that you're going to see everywhere today is not going to capture his full apology. So let me just summarize it if you're not going to go to our Instagram. He pointed out that his wife had severe food allergies and that he asked to have the food remade 3 different times, and then finally on the 3rd time, he said to the waiter, I might as well just go back to the kitchen and make it myself. And then he thought, okay, I didn't really say anything rude. I was sticking up for my wife. A week went by and I realized, but I did say a rude comment. And so I need to apologize for that rude comment, especially because I myself has been a server. I guess he'd been a server for years. So he did apologize. Hearing the full context, do you feel like that was enough?
I don't know. Apologies lose something with me when there's a lot of explanation leading up to it. You know, I was with my wife. She didn't feel good, and it was cold that day. I want to hear what you guys have to say, but I would really invite him to figure out where that comment came from, because it's deeper than just making a rude comment to a waiter. You know, as an intelligent being, that the waiter's not making the food. When you belittle somebody that's in a position that is lower than yours in that situation, it comes from a different place, and it smacks of elitism to me. It smacks of somebody that hasn't been on their feet for 10 hours, taking weird orders from everybody. I need the spinach, but I want it blue. You know, like, we don't have, you know, when you're a server, I've forgotten to bring people's meals. I've done everything. So the fact that he took that opportunity, I think it came from a deeper place rather than just frustration, especially if you know that the person you're with has very specific food allergies. I think that was, I didn't buy it.
I just think
no.
I do think that we're all human and we can all make mistakes and all have a bad day. I think when we're talking about a pattern of behavior, you might want to take inventory and audit your power. We all could stand a little auditing of our power, because people, I mean, everyone, there's always going to be someone who's going to like come at you. They're going to needle at you. You know, they're going to try to get under your skin. But a lot of times that doesn't have the power for me personally, because I know that if I gave them that same energy back, I would destroy them. So you have to understand where your power lies, and you have to be able to audit that and control it. It might feel really good to eviscerate someone just because they're doing something against you, but are you walking away feeling like a good person, or the bigger person, or a person at all? Like,
but what are the consequences for the other person? Just because James Corden's on TV,
they have to be them.
Yeah, but I know,
I mean, when somebody's being like,
I get you.
When someone's being mean to you, you know, like when someone's not being.
The case here.
But
no,
what,
I know,
but how do you know?
I know, but I'm just saying it's the power dynamic.
I get it, but if a waiter got my order wrong 3 times and my wife was allergic to that, you just didn't get it wrong. She's allergic to that, so there's going to be a reaction from that. Yeah. I'm going to be like, guy, you got it wrong 3 times. I told you she's allergic. This is a 5-star restaurant. I'm paying a lot of money for these eggs, okay? You got to get it right. And because I'm James Corden now, he's got to go on a show in front of his parents and apologize like he's in 5th grade. This person wasn't listening. I'm so sick of this gotcha culture when people are like, oh, James Corden bullying people all over the world, in Chicago, New York. Where? I didn't see one story, but we've had people mention it. Chicago, he's bullying people. New York. That's not true. Nobody has that story. This is the only one we have, and he's got to take time out of his show that people work hard, long days, and he's got to apologize because someone brought his meal 3 times wrong that they were allergic to. I'm on James Corden's side, and I'm tired of this gotcha culture and like, oh, he yelled at a waiter, let's get him out of here. I was a waiter my whole life. Don't give me that. I had people run me around. I know when people are running me around. I know when people are bad people. When someone gets something wrong that's going to hurt my wife, we have a problem. We have a problem here.
Yes, and the way you solve that problem is by leaving. If it's that bad, if we're on our 3rd time, one of the incidents with somebody,
you can Monday morning quarterback and say, listen, you shouldn't have said that, shouldn't have said this. But at the end of the day, like, do I agree with how James Corden treated that waiter? No. Do I agree that a 5-star restaurant should mess up somebody that may have celiac disease? And I know someone very close to me that has celiac.
It's very serious.
And it's very serious. Like, their week is going to be messed up. They're going to be sick all week if they get soy or something inside their food. But at the end of the day, like, is it worth of him leaving work for a week, having to apologize? Like, Can you give someone some grace?
And it's the people attacking him, Al, real quickly.
Yeah.
It's the people attacking him and calling him names and calling for his job, saying you got to be a better person. And then you go to their Instagram account and you're like, peace be on earth and all this stuff. They're the one attacking you in hate. And if you write a comment, they're saying go kill your whole family. Right. But they're all high and mighty on the internet. You know?
I see what you're saying, but I could care less about those people. And really, honestly, what I'm talking about is there is a specific dynamic that is not talked about when somebody is working for you. There is a dynamic that is not spoken about.
True.
And for somebody of James Corden's status to stand there and take somebody's life apart, like it seems like he did with the waiter, and that it made national news. He didn't just say, "Hey, buddy, you messed this up for the third time." Something happened. The reason that our producers found out about it here in Denver, something happened there. And the reason that the owner reacted like that, something happened there. So all I'm inviting him to do is figure out what that was and where that came from. Because you being upset about the food, the quality, the taste, whatever, but when you start talking about people's intelligence levels, when you start inferring that somebody is lesser than because they cannot get a simple order right, which was not simple, I think that's where I have my problem. And it has nothing to do with James Corden. The people attacking James Corden have issues with James Corden, but more issues with themselves. Yeah. And I would invite them to do the same thing. Yeah. Figure out why are you on James Corden's Instagram leaving nasty comments. Call your niece. Go volunteer. Right. Do that kind of thing. I'm just saying when something negative is coming out of you, because Jeff, I guarantee you, I've spent more time with the four of you guys than anybody else on this planet the last 5 years. I've never heard you guys ever even get close to talking to somebody like that.
And
because it's not inside of you.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Al, and I'm going to tell you this because I remember this quite clearly, season 2, and I snapped on a woman that was working the front desk of my building. I absolutely snapped on her, and it was. I won't even qualify what exactly happened, but I went to her. I was on the phone when I did it. I went to her that night and I said, I am terribly sorry. I never should have said what I said to you. I hope that one day you can forgive me and know that my character is going to speak to exactly who I am, because that's not it. She apologized to me, and I was like, no, please. I want you to accept this, because if anyone speaks to you like this, I want you to understand that that is not acceptable, regardless of what's happening in their lives. So I think that people have bad days. Things happen in your life. But when you take accountability for what you have said or done, and also teaching people that this is not how you are to be treated by anyone, and I am going to be the clown who stands in front of you and asks you for forgiveness for my moment of weakness. So I think that everyone has a teachable opportunity, and it's whether you decide to take it voluntarily or if you have to be forced into it.
But quickly, your apology to her didn't say, oh, I had a long day at work. Oh, my husband stuck in the airport, blah, blah, blah. You didn't have a bunch of qualifiers before you got to your apology, because your apology
because the story got out of control.
Right. What if the whole world is listening, though? And I agree. First of all, I agree with both of you.
If James Corden goes to that waiter and does that night, does that story get out?
No. And he should have. You're right. You're right.
Okay.
But him explaining in a one-on-one situation without the whole world involved, you should just say, I'm sorry, and walk away.
I appreciate
However, if everyone's making up this own narrative in their own minds of what went down in that restaurant, perhaps he felt the need to explain. But to Erica's point, he should have nipped it in the bud right then and there and apologized. But I don't know. There's way more bigger fish to fry, right?
Good. Two good analogies at the end there. Yeah.
Yes.
What was the other one?
You said there's bigger fish to fry.
That was one. What was the other?
One right before that. Nipped it in the bud. Wow. The turtle always gets the carrot.